So Lou seems like he's on a downward spiral, and alcohol is a problem for him, which is kind of interesting if you think about it. So far, well, I mean, RAQ smokes, right? Marvin in the past used to use drugs, but we see it looks like he's been clean for some time now and really making an effort to stay sober, if you think back to the first season. But now here it is, it looks like with everything that's going on in Lou's life and that Lou's been dealing with, his, I guess, unhealthy coping mechanism is, it seems like he's drinking very, very heavily. Seems like a really bad idea. It's sad but kind of cool as well to see Lou, where on the one hand, we pop back up at his apartment and we see that number one has been obvious now that he's been drinking heavily for a good little while now. Tucks away a bottle. Obvious that someone's coming over to visit because we see him like hiding away the bottle that he's currently drinking from. Door opens, in walks Jukebox, which kind of speaks to like his frame of mind, where it's like with Jukebox, he knows like he's not living right. You know, Marvin came by earlier to try to get him involved in some stuff that he had going on, and whereas in the past, like Lou would reluctantly go along, here we see that he just absolutely refuses, closes the door on Marvin. We then see Jukebox pops up and he allows her in. They kind of sit down and to some degree talk out their issues, right? Because there's been some static there because of how Lou handled the situation with the song that he took from Jukebox to give to Issa. But this kind of goes back to the thing that I said about RAQ and Kanan, where RAQ has done wrong by Kanan, but hasn't sat down to talk to him and to honestly apologize and to truly make amends by stopping what she's been doing, what's been making him upset. But here we see that Jukebox shows up. She seems somewhat reluctant or hesitant about, you know, what's going to take place here. But we see that before he does anything else, like the apartment is an absolute mess, right? But we see that before he does anything else, that he offers Jukebox a heartfelt apology, which you'd be surprised. Sometimes when, you know, you have drama or static with a person or whatever it is, how a simple thing like a sincere and heartfelt apology can go a long way towards not necessarily solving the problem, but setting you on the path to repairing that relationship. And so that's like the problem with RAQ and Kanan. Like RAQ, either she's just not there mentally as yet, or she's just not understanding that like you need to sit down with this kid, truly apologize, and right your wrongs. But here we see with Lou that he humbles himself, right? He apologizes to Jukebox, doesn't make excuses for his actions or anything like that. He accepts accountability, apologizes. And I say that it's nice to see this scene because finally you have someone giving Jukebox the encouragement, and not just ho-hum default encouragement, but passionately encouraging her to pursue this dream. And not just that, but kind of amping her up with the idea of it's a foregone conclusion that you have what it takes to win this competition. You know, like Marvin asked Jukebox, like, you know, when did she stop singing? And he asked a few questions, but he didn't really try to talk her out of it. But granted, you know, you don't really want to push kids to do one thing or another. But previously, he wasn't very supportive of her singing. And here, it's like, it didn't feel like he really offered her, he asked questions, but didn't really offer encouragement for her to continue pursuing music, right? It was kind of more of a, well, whatever you want to do kind of situation, But it was nice to see here Lou actually actively encourage Jukebox to not give up on music. And really, this seems to be the thing that they both need. For Lou, it hasn't just been about getting out of the drug business. But you see, like, music has been a lifeline for him. What he's deemed his path to get out of this life. And so it's refreshing to see him and Jukebox come back together. Because if you remember, like in the first season, him and Jukebox were like this. They had quite a number of scenes where it's the two of them together bonding over music, whether it's just talking about it. And it's like business and politics and things like that put a strain on their relationship during the second season, but it's nice to see them kind of getting back to where they were. Now, it's going to be interesting to see how things play out and what, if any, Jukebox tends to remain kind of neutral in the family drama, but it will be interesting to see how things play out between RAQ and Lou, and then what, if any, impact that will have on Jukebox's relationship with RAQ, right? Because we saw in the first episode that Lou was kind of talking down on RAQ to Kanan. And it remains to be seen if he does the same with Jukebox. And then what, if any, impact that has on the two kids at the center of the story, their relationship with RAQ. Like, we already know that RAQ and Kanan's relationship is not in a good place right now. But for the most part, her and Jukebox are cool. But it'll be interesting to see how things play out from there.